speech. How to frost a cake. This demonstration will tell how to frost a very pretty two-layer cake. Ways to frost and make simple but pretty cakes, with a few helpful hints. Not everyone knows how to frost cakes, and some easy tips to help them to do and not to do. Some people have different ideals of how to frost a cake. Some throw frosting on a warm cake and have a mess. Use your favorite recipe to make a batter for a round two-layer cake. The first step in frosting a beautiful cake is to make sure you completely cool off your cake after baking. If the cake is still warm, it can melt the frosting and leave a big droopy mess. You will have frosting running everywhere on and off the cake. Trim the layers to make a flat surface. If your cake is not flat, trim off the top of the dome with a large serrated knife to create an even layer. Using a serrated knife keeps the cake from tearing. To help prevent a dome, before baking, gently tap your batter-filled pans on the counter to let the air bubbles escape. Place the first round of cake on a plate or a pedestal that you want to serve it on. Then tuck in strips of parchment paper underneath the cake to protect the cake stand and to keep everything nice and neat when frosting. Always be sure to brush off any crumbs from moving the cake or trimming the top. Crumbs can ruin a cake. So do this first after cutting to make it flat. Add about half a cup dollop of frosting to the first layer of cake and spread the frosting evenly in short strokes while working your way to the edges. You can use a butter knife or an offset spatula to spread frosting. Top the cake with the second layer, top side down to create the most even layer. Use wooden skewers inserted into the cake to keep it from sliding. Repeat frosting the top cake layer, letting extra frosting accumulate at the edge of the cake. Use the flat edge of your knife or spatula. Push the extra frosting over the sides of the cake. Turn the cake stand with your hand as you frost the sides of the cake. For a real homemade look, use the back of a spoon to make nice swirls and ridges on the top of the cake. Remove the parchment paper strips, and there you have it, a frosted old-fashioned two-layer cake. Do not use cooking spray on baking pans. This allows the cake to rise higher and gives it a smoother crust. You can also take your cake knife and make pretty swirls around the sides of the cake. This has shown you how to frost a nice, pretty two-layer cake. Also, a few tips on what to do and not to do. If you take a little time, you will have a cake to be proud of. References: www.bettycrocker.com, www.pauladean.com.